Hey guys, it's Mr. Murray. Just want to take a little time today to talk to you, to keep building on what we've been working on with greatest common factor, and roll into least common multiple. The least common multiple, by definition, is the smallest common multiple of a set of two or more numbers. So an example I have here says the LCM of 4 and 6 is 12. Well, multiples, if you're not sure what multiples are what we get when we multiply a number by any given number. So for example, the multiples of 4, anytime I multiply 4, the answer is going to be a multiple of 4. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, so forth and so on. I've listed the first 6 multiples here. Then the multiples of 6 are anytime I multiply by 6, whatever answer I get is going to be a multiple. And I've done 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, so 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, so forth and so on. The least common multiple is the smallest number that shows up in both sets of multiples. In this case, it's 12. Okay, because 4 times 3 is 12, 6 times 2 is 12. Just like we use greatest common factor when we're working with fractions to get the lowest term, we use least common multiple when we're working with fractions or with ratios to help us come up with a common denominator so it's easier to work with the fractions. That's really the purpose of them. So what I'm going to show you real quick here is a quick and dirty method for finding our least common multiple. And it's going to look real familiar to you. Okay, so let me erase this real quick. All right, so let's say that I want to find the least common multiple what is the least common multiple of, let's just keep it fairly easy. We'll say 12 and 16. All right, I want to know what is the smallest number that both 12 and 16 can go into. All right, so here's where it's going to look familiar. So I'm going to take my 12 and 16, and I'm going to build a cake out of 12 and 16. I'm going to put my 12 and my 16 in my bottom layer of my cake. All right, and just like when I look for the greatest common factor, I'm going to look for the smallest factor, or the smallest divisor that goes into both of these. So using my divisibility rules, they're both even numbers, so I know right away that 2 is going to work for both of them. So I'm going to put my 2 out here. All right, I'm going to divide them both by 2. 2 goes into 12 6 times, and 2 goes into 16 8 times. All right, now I look at my two quotients that I come up with, the two numbers that I got when I divided, and I see that they're still even, and so that tells me, yep, 2 will go into those again. So I add another layer to my cake, and I put my 2 out here again. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. All right, so I've got my cake built. I look at the 3 and the 4, and I say 3 is prime, so the only thing that'll go into that is 1 and 3. Neither one of those or 1 goes in, but not 3. So really, we're done. We're done with our cake. Well, one thing we already know, just because of what we've been doing in class with our greatest common factors, the two numbers going up the side are going to give me my greatest common factor. The greatest common factor, or the biggest number that goes into both 12 and 16, equals 4. To find the LCM, or the least common multiple, we're going to take those two numbers, plus we're going to go up around the top here. We're going to make an L, and we're going to multiply all of those numbers together. So in this case, the LCM is going to be 2 times 2 times 3 times 4. Well, if I want to solve that, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 4 is 12, and 4 times 12 is 48. So, for the numbers 12 and 16, the LCM is 48. And that's how we use the cake method. The same cake method that we use to find the greatest common factor will also help us find GCF. Hopefully this helps you out. If you have any questions, you know you can find me in class. Hope you have a great one.